Okay, a few of you have requested that I do more playthrough videos, and one of the reasons I don't do them is because they're kind of time consuming, and you have to do a lot of multitasking while shooting them. You're shooting the video, you're playing the game, looking up rules, rolling dice, and they're not easy to do. They can also be kind of long, and I kind of like to keep my videos about 15 to 20 minutes long. Now, another reason I don't like to do them is because inevitably you're going to make some mistakes in play. And the few playthroughs I have done, I'll get an email saying, well, you know, you did this wrong at the 3-minute mark, you should have done this, should have done that. Well, that's just the nature of the beast. Most of the playthrough videos I've seen done by other people have errors in them, and that's quite understandable. But in previous videos I hinted that I wanted to do more videos on the great campaigns of the American Civil War. I've really fallen in love with this system. I really like it. So I'm going to try a playthrough video, and I'm going to start with a small scenario from On to Richmond. And this is just an experiment. Let's just see how that turns out. I'm going to try to keep the videos interesting and moving along. Let's just see how it goes. Okay, I wasn't sure which scenario to start out with, so I decided to go generally chronologically, and I chose the On to Richmond title, and the scenario I chose was the Warwick Line, which starts on April 5th, goes to April 7th, 1862. This is part of McClellan's Peninsula campaign, of course, and I'll just lay out the general parameters of the scenario. We've got McClellan's force here, a few divisions, and some of them are quite large. We've got Porter's division here, which is a whopping 21 strength points, Hamilton and 18, Sedgwick is 17. So these are large divisions. The Confederates are defending the Warwick Line. This is the town of Yorktown with the siege guns, and these are all Confederate brigades. Now there are variables for the setup, and I'm not saying this is the optimal setup. My logic here was I had the 3rd Virginia Cavalry set up in advance to slow down the Union advance should they assault against the line, buy them time. So essentially I'm going to have the Confederates try to defend this Warwick Line. Victory points are in the rear here for the Union, and victory points for capturing Yorktown. Now I folded the map back. For those of you who have the game, you know that this board is much bigger. I've just folded it for the purposes of the video. And we'll zoom in a little closer, and I'll just commence the replay, and we'll just see how it goes. Before we commence the video, a few notes on the scenario itself. It's called the Warwick Line, and it's somewhat of a hypothetical situation, although it reflects the history. On April 5th it actually rained quite heavily, and that's why McClellan didn't move forward. This scenario supposes that they had good weather, and it's kind of a what if. What if McClellan had moved against the Warwick Line before Johnson's forces came down from Richmond? So that's what we're looking at here. And we'll start the game with the initiative to see who goes first. You roll the die, and the high man gets the initiative. And we've got Confederates. The Confederates have the initiative. Okay, the Confederate position is pretty good. They're behind the Warwick River here. There are bridges, and it's a very good line. Historically, the Confederate line stretched right from Yorktown right to the James, so it was a very good line. I think we can improve it though, because McClellan will move forward with the division-size units. So let's try activating Rhodes' division, and might as well do it as a corps activation through Magruder, and we'll roll the die and see what movement points the Confederates get. Okay, they rolled a 1. Not too good. Which gives them in the end, let me just check the chart here, Confederate corps adds 2, so Rhodes is going to have 3 moving points. That might be enough, though, to get him in position. So he will have to pay stacking for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, he won't have enough. Anyway, so we'll move Rhodes here to here. 2 moving points, and he has 1 fatigue. We'll now roll for initiative. See who's going first. Roll. It's a tie. Ties go to the Confederates in the Great Campaign system, so they'll get to move again. Well, I think I'll have Rhodes move again. Roll the die, and we'll do it through Magruder, the Corps Commander. And he gets, this time, 5 moving points. So that's plenty to stack with McClaw's, which he will do. Of course, then he does go to fatigue 2. So Wynn's Mill is fairly well protected. Roll for initiative again. See who moves first. The Union moves first this time. Alright, let me think about what McClellan's going to do. Okay, McClellan decides to activate Heintzelman's Corps. So Union will be rolling 1 die and adding 1 to the number of movement points they get. Union rolls 1. Wow. Bad. So, in the end, Heintzelman has 2 movement points, and we can just track that by putting this here to remind us he's when he got 2. And let's see, he'll have Hamilton's division move out first. He'll go 1, 2 up to Adams' house. He takes a fatigue marker. McClellan with Heintzelman and Porter's division will go 1, 2 just to here, and that unit has fatigue. In the game they specifically say, or the rules for the scenario, Sedgwick is part of Heintzelman's Corps, so he's going to move also 2 and also take a fatigue. So McClellan is just crawling up the peninsula there. Let's roll for initiative again. See who moves first. Okay, 3 and a 1. The Union will move first. Let me look at the Union options. Okay, well, I'd like to brush aside this 3rd Virginia Cavalry, which is blocking the way. So I'm going to do that by activating keys. Now, he's got a regiment of cavalry with him, but the cavalry would have to roll independently. And I don't want to move a 1 cavalry against a 1 cavalry Confederate. So I'm going to activate Keyes' whole corps. I'll roll the die, see how many movement points Keyes gets. And he gets 2. Union are not moving very well these days. Okay, that's 3 movement points total. Smith is activated. He'll go 1, 2, 3 and be adjacent to the 3rd Virginia. And he does put a fatigue marker on. Now, the most sensible thing for the Confederate to do is to retreat the 3rd Virginia. There'd be little point in having a 1 destroyed by a 19. So the 3rd Virginia will retreat before combat, and that entails a die roll. Confederates roll. They roll a 1. I can't get over the die rolls in this game. Now, you have the 1, which is a half. I don't remember if you round up or round down. I'll say for the sake of argument you probably round up. So the Union will lose a movement point off of their total. So they're not going to be able to move any further. They're not going to be able to advance. But the 3rd Virginia takes a fatigue, and it can retreat up to 4 squares, which it will do so. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go up this way. And they've effectively stopped the movement of Smith's division of Keyes' corps. Okay, Couch can still move, and he's only got 3 movement points. He will go into this square. He will not pay for the stacking, unstacking because of cavalry. You can ignore that. So he'll go 1, 2, 3, and be at the Warwick Courthouse again with 1 fatigue. So because of the low die rolls, we've got McClellan just crawling up through no fault of his own. And let's see who moves first. The Union gets a 6. The Union will be moving first. Let me contemplate what the Union can do. Okay, The Union could move up this corps Heinzelmann and assault from the Burnt Chimneys Square across the Warwick River, but there's a lot of imponderables there. One, we don't know what die roll he's going to get. How many movement points will he have? They would have to be kind of hasty attacks. Knowing McClellan, he would probably wait for a prepared attack. And in this case, I think I have to agree with his philosophy. There's no use throwing away men. So, we'll have Heinzelmann's corps move up to the Burnt Crossings. Let's see what Heinzelmann's corps gets. They get a 4, which becomes a 5 really because of a corps activation. So each of Heinzelmann's will have 5 movement points. Let me contemplate what they can do, and we'll film the move after I've moved them. Okay, we've got a good concentration by McClellan there. He's got Heinzelmann's corps concentrated at the Burnt Chimneys. Unfortunately, all of the divisions are at fatigue 2, but it's a very good concentration, and I opted not to do hasty attacks with each individual division. Knowing McClellan, and probably it's the best move anyway, it's better to wait and assault with everything you've got. Now, the next stage is going to be critical, because we're again going to roll for initiative, and this will be critical in the sense that if the Confederates move first, they'll be able to reinforce that space. If McClellan moves first, or rather Heinzelmann, the U.S. will be able to assault that square before the Confederates reinforce. That's why initiative in this game is subtle, but it's important. Let's see who's moving first. And the winner is... Nope, the Confederates move first. Okay, that means they're going to be able to reinforce that square, which I think they should do. Let's take a look at the Confederate options. Well, there's no question that Magruder's going to have to reinforce this square. The question is, what does he reinforce it with? He's got McLaws's division under there that's already at fatigue 2. The very act of moving him out would cause him to go to fatigue 3. However, I don't like the idea of having him stay there and be assaulted. I'd rather have fresh units. But in this game, fatigue isn't all that bad in combat. So I'm going to leave Rhodes and McLaws there and move Pryor's brigade up. Pryor's out of command of Magruder. The Confederates move fairly quickly, pretty efficiently. So I'm going to activate Pryor's brigade, and he's going to roll to see how many movement points he gets. And Confederate units add 1 with no leader. Okay, so we roll the die and see what Pryor does. He gets 5 movement points. Okay, well that's going to be plenty to go into the road stack. He'll have to pay 1 to stack, but it's no problem since there's a road connecting. So 1, 2, and Pryor takes a fatigue marker. Technically now we've got a sort of a hole there, but I thought it was worth it to plug up that main defense square. Question is, who moves first next? The Confederates move first, which is fortunate for them, so they can plug up this hole. They'll activate Rains' brigade. Rains rolls a die, adding 1. He's got a whopping 7 movement points, but he doesn't really need 7 at all. He only needs really what? 1, 2 to stack, 3, just 3 to go there and protect the bridge at Lee's Mill. And he does take a fatigue. You can see how important fatigue is in this game. That's why I like it so much. You just can't do whatever the heck you want. Everything you do, moving, you pay for it. Let's see who's moving first. The Union are moving first. Okay, well, it's a no-brainer here since I've set it up. So I'll stop the video for a moment and work out all the parameters of having Heinzelmann's corps attacked the Confederates here. There'll be a lot of modifiers. Let me work them all out, and then we'll commence the video. Okay, now here's one of the disadvantages of the great campaigns of the Civil War system. When you have a battle with large stacks, it gets a bit unwieldy to work out the battle. Now I've done something, worked out a solution that some of you out there may want to try. Maybe other people have got other solutions, but I'll show you what I did instead. You can do this, spread them all out, but then what if you've got counters all around there? It can get kind of messy. I'll show you my solution. Okay, my solution was to, I just painted up some little tile spacers, painted a red one and a blue one, red for Confederate, blue for Union, and then moved all of the counters off to the side here so you can study the battle and what you're going to do. I'm sure there's other equally good solutions, but this is the one I've found that works for me. This way I can see who's fatigued, see what the parameters are. So let me work out the parameters. I'll explain them in the video, and we'll be able to roll the die and see what happened. Okay, let's see if I've got the modifiers right. And this is not written in stone. I might have made some errors. Well, we've got a 4-to-1 attack by McClellan if everybody goes in. So he starts off with +3 to his die roll. If you do an assault, you get another +1. So we got really +4. We take Heintzelman's combat ability, which is 3, compare that to the best Confederate, which is 2. So I think McClellan starts off with a base of 5. I've worked out the artillery, 4, 7, 11 guns versus 3, 4 guns, which is really a +7. But when we check the chart for artillery, and we're in rough terrain for the Confederates, there's really no effect. So I see a net of +5 for this attack. Now, I'll check the modifiers for the Confederates because the Union are charging across a bridge. Yeah, the Confederates do get +2 for defending across a bridge, dam, or ferry, or ford. So McClellan's total there will not be +5, it'll be actually +3. That's the way I see it. Now, because McClellan is there personally, he can try for a grand assault, which he will do. So, to do a grand assault, you first roll a die. And you don't want to get a 6 with a grand assault. Let's find out. McClellan rolled a 2, so there can be a grand assault. Let me just see the modifiers now with the grand assault. Okay, now I'm not sure if I've got this right. I think I do. I'm not sure. I'll check the rule again. But you have to work out the assault number. And you're supposed to take that number, which McClellan rolled as 2, subtract it from McClellan's ability, which is 4, which leaves 2. So the assault number is 2. Now I don't know if that means I can only assault with 2 units or not. I'll have to check that rule. Okay, the rules state if a grand assault takes place, you go ahead with the standard assault action, which I've just done. Which still means that you have to subtract 2 from McClellan, and I think that means that only 2 units can go in. Or do I subtract 2 from Heintzelman, which is 3, which means only 1 unit can go in? I'm going to have to check that. This is a little unclear. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right either, because it says if the grand assault goes through, which it did, go back to the attack procedure, which certainly sounds as if I'm doing the same thing again. Well, it says increase fatigue of all units in the assault. So all these Union units go to fatigue 3. Of that, we're positive. And we'll just follow the procedure what it says. Then it says select the target. Well, the target is obvious. It's that hex. Roll for command again, which I'm a little unsure of. It seems to me we've already rolled for command. But roll the die. We get a 5 this time. I got a feeling that's not too good. Then it says you subtract that from the active leader's command value. Well, the active leader is Heintzelman, which is 3. And I rolled a 5. So that's technically a -2. Now, it says here, the assault number is 0 or less, or no, 0 or greater, the assault takes place. Well, I'm at -2, so it doesn't take place. Assault number is the maximum number of attack units that can participate in the assault. If the assault number is 0, 1 unit may participate. And if it's negative, let's find out what that happens. Let me see what happens. Well, according to that, that means because it was an uncoordinated assault by Heintzelman, only one physical unit can go in. Well, of course, you might as well take, what are the odds? 10, 14. It's going to be a 1-to-1 anyway. Well, I'll have Sedgwick go in. So now we've got to recompute those odds. And let me give you the new modifiers. Well, I must admit, the system certainly is involved, but it is realistic. In the end, the modifiers were a wash. Why? Because Sedgwick was going in, causing a 1-to-1, no modifier. The Union gets 1 for performing an assault. Heintzelman has 1 over the Confederates for leadership, which gives them 2. And unfortunately, at least unfortunately for the Union, the Confederates get 2 for the bridge. So the assault modifier is 0. In other words, we're rolling the die, and the high man will get the advantage. So we're now going to roll for that battle. We'll call it the Battle of Wynn's Mill. And we'll see if McClellan's boys take the hex. Okay, we're rolling for the battle. And the Union actually wins. So, the Unions are on the +2 table. And we'll work out the casualties. So, the way you work it out is you crosshatch the 2 result, the size of your force, and we'll see what happens. Okay, Sedgwick was a 17, so he gets a 1DA result, which means he loses 1 step, he's disorganized, and he may advance. Let me fix up his counters first, then we'll see what happens to the Confederates. Okay, it's got an elegant combat system. We've exchanged Sedgwick's 17 unit for a 16. It says he is disorganized, so we flip him, which means for combat he's only an 11. And it says that Sedgwick may advance. Well, let's see what happened to the Confederates. Okay, the Confederates were 14 in size, sliding over the 2. They get a 1DR result, which means they lose a step, are demoralized, and they retreat. Let's do that. Okay, in this example, McClellan took the hit. We made his 5 of 4, but the Confederates are disorganized because all of them were defending, and they got a D result. And now we have to do a retreat with them. Be careful to keep your fatigue markers the way they're supposed to be when you reconstitute the stack. And that stack is over there where the red X is. Now retreats, I believe, are 1 hex, but let me just check that. Now the retreats are actually a minimum of 2 hexes, but can be 4. So Confederates are retreating from Wynn's Mill. It's not a rout, now it's a retreat. And there's a whole table for the priorities of retreats. But basically, you're moving away from the enemy and you're sticking on roads if possible. So I'm going to have Pryor, he would like to stay within range of Magruder, so he'll go straight up the road there, and that's where he ends up. And we remember Sedgwick is allowed to advance, because he's the one that made the attack. Sedgwick will advance into the Wynn's Mill hex. And he's got a fatigue 3 marker on him. And the rest of the army will be placed back on the board. I don't think we'll have McClellan advance with them either. McClellan and Heintzelman will stay there. So that's the result of the Union turn winning the Battle of Wynn's Mill. Now let me just check the points there and we can mark that on the chart. Okay, now points wise, the Union gets 1 point because they've inflicted 1 casualty on the Confederates, and the Confederates get 1 point because they've inflicted 1 casualty on the Union. So they're tied there. Now at the end of the game, though, the Union will get 2 points for capturing that square. Now I put little wee white markers on here to remind us which are the victory point squares. No, I haven't marked them all because McClellan gets points for taking this whole line here. But for the halfway house, if he gets that far, he gets 8 points, which is very desirable. And Mulberry Point, he gets 4 points. In essence, if the Union cracks the Confederate line on the Warwick River, the Confederates are in bad trouble. So, looking at the situation now, we're going to be rolling for initiative to see who moves first. Now, what's happened? Well, McClellan's corps, under Heintzelman, has made a foothold on the other side of the Warwick River. Not very good for the Confederates, because in the end, the Confederates really have just brigades against Union divisions. I'll take a look at the situation. I guess I should see who moves first, because that's going to change things. We're tied, which means the Confederates move first. Let me look at the Confederate options, and I'll see what they can do. But right now, I don't see too many options, but falling back or just trying to hold on, because the Confederate brigades are too small to take on some of these large Union divisions. Okay, the way I see it, the Confederates have pretty well got to contain McClellan's advance here. Now Sedgwick is pretty worn out with 3 fatigue. You reach 4, you can't move or attack. You're in a pretty bad way. But they've got to contain this advance. I don't feel like moving guys that have been hit into the square. I'd rather take the chance of moving some fresh units in, though they have further to march. I'm not sure what to do. I'm gambling here, because if Wilcox and Colson don't fill up this hole, it could be very bad. So maybe I'll have to compromise here and just move Pryor's brigade, part of Magruder. Yeah, okay, that's what I'll do. Magruder will activate and move Pryor. Roll the die, see how many movement points he gets. He gets 7 movement points, which is plenty for what he has to do. When he has to go down here to the Warwick River line. And you see one of the disadvantages of this game too is the unwieldy stacks. Okay, Pryor then will move into these lines on the Warwick River. He does take a fatigue for moving there. We roll initiative. See who's moving next. The Union has the initiative. Okay, let me pause for a moment and let's see what McClellan's options are. I'm always amazed how well this game reflects history. Alright, McClellan's in a bit of a dilemma, because if he moves any units of Heintzelman's corps, they're going to reach fatigue 4, which puts them in a very bad position. They won't be able to move or attack. True, if they move here, they'll certainly secure that square. Not sure what to do here. If I bring these guys up, they'll go to fatigue 2. If they assault this line and take it, the Confederates are going to be in a very bad way. And who is that? That's Keyes' corps. Yeah, I think the best move is to move Keyes' corps up. So I'll roll the die, see how many movement points they get. They get 7, which is plenty. So Keyes' corps will be on the move. We'll follow the action after I've moved Keyes' corps. Okay, I think I might want to take advantage of the fact that the Union has 7 movement points. So Smith's division of Keyes' corps is going to go into Lee's Mill and do an attack against this unit here. Rains. Yes, it's across a river. No, it's not a grand assault, but I think it's worth it to do it. So first of all, we make Smith's fatigue 2. I'll work out the parameters and we'll see how the battle goes. Okay, to show that attack, Smith's corps that had 7 movement points use up 3 of his 7 just to get into that space and do a prepared attack. So the Union are attacking across the Warwick River, and I'll work out the modifiers. Smith's division did take 1 fatigue, and we'll see what the odds are. Okay, this is potentially a very strong attack if it goes through. So you roll one die first. You don't want to get a 6. Cancel the whole thing. Well, what do you know? McClellan has some bad luck. I'll just make sure of that, but I'm pretty sure if you get a 6, the whole assault is cancelled. Yep, it's cancelled. So no attack goes in there. Too bad for Keyes and McClellan. Okay, fortunately for Keyes, he still can try to move Couch's division. Couch also has 7 movement points because it was a corps activation. Couch goes to 2 fatigue, and he goes 1, 2, 3, 4 to stack, and 1 more to do the prepared attack. 5. So he's still got 2 movement points left if that attack goes through. Let's roll the die, and you don't want to get a 6. Union rolls 5, so the attack is going through. Let me work out the modifiers there and see how the attack goes. Okay, the modifiers aren't too bad. The Union gets +3 because they're doing, they have the odds. And they get 1 more because it's an assault, that's 4. And Couch and Rains cancel each other, and there's no modifications for artillery. But the Confederates do get 2 for the river, therefore in the end, the Americans, U.S. troops, Union, are going to be adding 2 to the dice. Let's roll the model and see what happens. Okay. Union rolls 4, which really becomes a 6 because of the modifiers. So in the end, it's a +1, and that's not great. Let's see what the result is. Okay. The Union gets a 1D result, and the Confederates get a D result. So technically the Confederates won the battle. Each are demoralized, but the Union are taking a loss. So we add 1 more strength, 1 more point to the Confederates. We take off 1 of Couch's men. A 17 becomes a 16, and he is D'd. Well, it's kind of odd. I don't see a 16 counter in the counter mix. Anyway, for now, I'll just use a 14 and a 2 then. They are disrupted, and they're still in that square. Put the Confederates back. They are disorganized, though. So the Confederates held the Warwick Line on that front. And time to do the initiative roll again. Who's moving next? Looks like the Confederates are moving next. Let's see what they can do. Okay, I think the Confederates are in a comfortable enough position that they can take a chance and move some of these rear units up. I think they've stymied McClellan in the short term. So let's activate Colston here and see if he can contribute to the defense. Rolls a 1, which really is a 2 for the Confederates, so he can do a measly 2 movement points. Well, in this game with such short distances, that could be critical. So Colston will move up. Most logical place is down here, I guess. And fatigue 1. Let's see who's moving first. The Confederates again move first. Well, I think the logical position is to put Colston onto Cobb, shore up that defense line. He only needs 2 movement points, and he just got it with a 1, becoming 2. So he lands on Cobb Square, but he will be at fatigue 2. Now they've shored up the defense of the Warwick Line pretty darn good. Who's moving next? Ties goes to the Confederates. Well, the Confederates could almost pass now, but they won't. They still got some fresh units in the rear. They will move Wilcox up. They get 5 movement points. We mark Wilcox with a fatigue 1, and he might as well charge up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is a good central position. So the Confederates shoring up the Warwick Line. Who's moving next? It's a tie, but ties go to the Confederates. Wow. Well, I think we'll move. No, that's only a cavalry. You don't want cavalry near infantry. It's only a 1. Maybe it's time to move McClaws and all that, even if they are fatigued. I hate to put guys to fatigue 3 though. It's not good at all. Magruder's there with the siege guns and a small unit. I think I'll pass as Confederates. Maybe a bad move. Yeah, no, maybe I better move that brigade in. Yeah, I'll move that brigade in. Roll the die. 4 movement points, which is plenty. That's Wilcox. Becomes fatigue 2. He shores up the Warwick Line pretty darn good. Who's moving first? The Union finally moves first. Alright, we've got some big decisions here. And with that, I might end the video and do as a part 1. Because McClellan's men are so fatigued there isn't a lot they can do. Let me ponder the options, and then we'll start the video again. Okay, at this point, I don't really feel like moving Heintzelman's corps into a position where they're going to be at fatigue 4. I don't like that at all. These guys are at fatigue 3. They actually could do 1 more assault, but I'd rather wait till they're fresh troops. That leaves only the 5th, 6th U.S. Cavalry down here, which isn't doing much. Since the turn is going to end soon anyway, I'll activate them. And Union Cavalry, I think, roll 2 dice. No leader. Yeah, they just roll 2 dice, and that's the number of movement points they get. 5th U.S. Cavalry is going to move 8 movement points. Get a fatigue marker ready. And I think they'll shore up McClellan's right flank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up here. Okay, and with that move, I think I'll end the video, call it part 1, and if I decide to do a second part, we'll continue on, go on to the second turn, remove fatigues and stuff like that. But this, I hope, gives you some idea of what the game is like. Try to make the game play as interesting as I can. It's a very procedural game, and my only nitpick about the game is the high stacks. Now that can be alleviated by using force markers and these charts there where you can put the markers on. I usually do that when I'm playing army level games. This one's a small scenario, so I haven't bothered. But you can use these force display cards, and this way you have a lot less counter clutter. So let's end the Warwick scenario here, and I'll post it, and maybe I'll get around to doing a part 2. Thank you for watching.